This is Girlfriend Simulator by ebi-hime. Entry for this year's Spooktober visual novel, Game Jam. And I said in Elevator Hitch that that had a PC-98 aesthetic. I was probably inspired in that regard, but probably missed the mark because this explicitly goes for the old school PC-98 aesthetic, and you'll see it once we start this up and get into it. The story of this game, very simple. We wake up in a room that looks like our own. It doesn't feel quite right. By our bedside is a cute girl who is our adorable, doting girlfriend. It's all well and good, but we don't remember her. We don't remember. Let's fall asleep. The pain, when it hits me, is intense. It comes on so suddenly I feel like I'm going to be sick. It hurts more than I thought it would. It hurts more than I can endure. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. But then, a miracle happens. My vision turns white. My lungs spasm in one last desperate gasp. And then there's nothing. I'm finally free. I thought it would be scary, which is why I trembled so much. But I think I'm getting used to it now. It's not that bad, really. Not existing. There are worse things you can do than disappear. Huh? Hey, Ayumu? Can you hear me? Please, tell me you can hear me. Wake up! You have to wake up! Don't do this to me! Ayumu! Ah, it sounds like somebody's calling out to me. I can hear a voice, high and anxious, cleaving through my comfortable, cozy state of non-existence. My head is starting to hurt again. What's going on? Here's the aesthetic. Here's the PC-98 aesthetic we're going for here. I open my eyes slowly, groggily, and glance upwards. This is cool. I like this. There's somebody standing by my bedside. Somebody I don't know. The eyes in the background are very concerning. God, even down to the pixelated backgrounds. Stuff. This is very PC-98, and I love it. She has long, fair hair tied into a ponytail, and she's wearing clothes which I suppose are fairly fashionable. As far as appearances go, she's quite cute, and it doesn't hurt that her face is so sweet either. Her eyes are very wide, her iris is indigo, and her nose is small and snub. Her lips are pale pink, like cherry blossoms, and they're parted in what I suppose is concern. Her skin is white like milk, or like snow, and her fingers are slender. She's slender in general, really, so much so it looks like a gust of wind could blow her away. She's so pristine, in her ruffled blouse and her high-waisted skirt, she hardly looks human. Her facial features are all too perfectly arranged. I can't see a single blemish on her skin. She's almost too pretty. She stands out in my normal-ass room. What is a girl like this doing in my apartment? I feel dazed, and this girl's breathy exclamation of relief when I open my eyes does little to reassure me that this isn't a dream. Oh, thank goodness! I'm so glad you're finally awake. You were out for hours, Ayumu. I was so worried. I don't know her name, but she seems to know mine. Are we friends, then? We must be more than acquaintances, given the familiar way she's talking to me. I don't remember having any friends like her, though. I don't remember having any friends at all. Wasn't that why I... Oh. Unease acquired. No, I'd better not think about that. My head is starting to hurt again. I'm sorry, but this is all kind of a lot. What's going on? Oh, you poor thing. You really must be sick if you have to ask that. I'm sick? You are. Yes, you're very, very sick. Your temperature was almost 38 degrees when I last checked. You were passed out when I came here, and that was... I'd say it was about 2 hours ago? I've kept myself busy since then cleaning this place up, but I was very worried about you. I'm glad that you decided to call me this morning. I hate to think of you suffering on your own. You were so hot, I was thinking I might have to call the hospital. The hospital? I blink, trying to disperse the white, hazy spots which are flickering in front of my vision. My apartment is shifting, and so is this girl's concerned face. It feels a bit like my reality is being filtered through an old VCR player. An old VCR player, or an old CRT. And everything keeps juddering. Am I really that sick? You look pretty sick, yeah. Though you haven't actually been sick, thank goodness. That's a relief. Seems like your fever might be breaking now, though. You sound pretty lucid for the most part. Maybe I should test you, though. How many fingers am I holding up? Just the one? That's right. And now? It's still just one? Good, good. I'm glad there's no problems with your vision, at least. Hehe. Now what's your favorite food? Pork cutlet, I think? And your favorite book? That's, it's a light novel series, but I love Elf Forest by Tsuchimi Rui. Right, and your birthday. That's October 6th, I think. Oh, happy birthday in 5 days. Ayumu? Very good. And my birthday? That is, crap, I don't know the answer to this. Not that this should come as too much of a surprise. How am I supposed to know this girl's birthday when I don't even know her name? I ponder this for a few moments, my expression contorting. The girl must see my obvious distress because, eventually, she takes pity on me. Silly Ayumu, you've always been so bad with birthdays. The birthday's only a few days before yours, on October 1st. Don't forget it, alright? Oh, happy birthday! It is actually your birthday today. Okay. Man, maybe you ought to make a note of it. It might come in handy later. When, exactly? When you were to buy me a birthday present, duh, for being such a great girlfriend. The girl giggles. What about my name? Don't tell me you've forgotten that, too. This was filmed in... You are... It's here that I begin to struggle. I thought I might recognize this girl the more time passed, but we've been talking for a few minutes, and that still hasn't happened. I can't recall her name for the life of me. It isn't even on the tip of my tongue. The girl frowns. Well, that's no good. I thought you were on the mend, but maybe I was jumping the gun. I mean, geez. Imagine forgetting your own girlfriend. Huh? Now that's a surprise if ever I've heard one. You're my girlfriend. That's right. I'm Nagi, and we've been together for a month away already. We were talking to each other for longer than that, though, of course. We've only been going out for a little bit, but I thought you'd recall at least that much. I thought I was special to you, Ayumu. Oh, great. Now she's pouting at me. It's quite effective, actually. What should I do? I don't remember. Something flash? Oh, no. No, it's just a screen fading. Reassure. You are special to me. You've plenty special, I'm sure. Just feel a little mixed up now, is all. My head is killing me. Well, so long as you're sorry. Happy birthday, Nagi. This was filmed on Nagi's birthday. It's to be expected, I guess, that you'd be a little confused since you have such a high fever. Would you like me to fetch you any ibuprofen? What about some water? Oh, no, don't go out of your way. I'm sure I'll live. You'd better. If you don't, then I would. What was that look? Well, let's not worry about that right now. I think you need to sleep now more than anything. Do you want to get some more shut-eye? Do you mind? It would seem a bit rude inviting you over than spending the whole time asleep. Oh, think nothing of it. I came here to help you, after all. And if sleeping will help you, which I think it will, then that's what you should do. Don't worry about me. You should be thinking about yourself right now, silly. Just relax, you hear? Your super cute girlfriend is going to do her darndest to help you recover. I'm not going to leave until we've got that fever of yours under control and that frown turned upside down. Right. Nagi's voice is high-pitched and it hits me like a freight train. It's relentless. I'm not sure if listening to her spiel is making me feel much better. My head is still aching, though I suppose I appreciate how determined she is to cheer me up. I still can't quite recall having a girlfriend, especially not one this devoted, but, well, whatever. I'm sick. I must be confused, like Nagi said. I shouldn't pay it too much heed. I yawn. Tears begin to bead in the corners of my eyes. Obediently, my eyelids begin to fall shut. I feel so tired. Yes, that's right. Get some more sleep, Mayumu. Sleep as much as you like. I'm not going to leave you. Please be here to take care of you. I promise. Not sure how long I sleep for, but when I wake up, I feel distinctly groggy. I blink, attempting to disperse the white spots that are scattered in front of my vision. The back of my head is still pounding. Ooh, hello. I still feel quite out of it, regardless of how much I've slept, which might be why the sight of the girl sitting at my bedside shocks me so much. It takes me a few moments before I realize that I've seen her before. She was sitting next to me the last time I woke up. She said her name was Nagi. That's right. Nagi, question mark? It's good to see that you're awake, Ayumu. You were out of it for ages, hehe. You really must be tired. Ah, well that answers one question I had. I was wondering how long I'd been asleep. I am pretty tired, yeah. Look at my bedside table. Searching for my digital alarm clock, but I can't find it. Unease. Now that's funny. I was sure I had a clock there, but I don't recall using it that much. Not in the last few months, at least. I didn't have any need for it. Did I throw it out? I don't remember doing that, though. I don't remember much of anything. Oh? Nagi must have noticed my expression twisting because she frowns. Is something bothering you? You're not in any pain, are you? Oh, no, I'm fine. Just wanted to know what time it was, if you knew. The time, I think it's about midday. You woke up at 9, but you've been sleeping the last 3 hours. 3 hours? That's quite a lot. Yeah, you were asleep for a while, like I said. You poor thing. You've been laid very low indeed. Don't worry, I've not been hanging around doing nothing these last 3 hours. I actually made some rice porridge for you, to show up your strength. You did? I don't see any rice porridge. I did, yeah. It's still in the kitchen. Let me warm it up for you. Nagi rises to her feet, the hem of her skirt fluttering, then sets off. I hear the sound of distant clattering in the kitchen, or pots or pans, and then the shuffle of returning footsteps. Nagi is wearing indoor slippers, so her feet don't make very much noise. Her footsteps are cushioned. I guess she didn't want to get my floor dirty. How considerate of my stranger of a girlfriend. My girlfriend who I've never met before. Not that it matters. My floor is filthy, just like the rest of my room. It should be, at least. But my surroundings look tidier than I remember. My alarm clock isn't the only thing I see that's gone missing while I've been asleep. Ta-da! Nurse Nagi is back on the scene. Nagi appears before me, less than 5 minutes after her departure. She's smiling brightly, and she's holding a tray. This is for you, Ayumu. Eat up. On the tray which Nagi is now thrusting at me, there's a bowl of warmed-up rice porridge, from which steam is gently exuding, and a cup of herbal tea. The rice porridge is a milky white, and the tea is a translucent copper color. They both look nourishing, and they smell pretty good, too. Can't see anything wrong with this food. Not at a glance, at least, but, I'm sure it's fine. If this porridge tastes good, as good as it looks, it should be delicious. Ooh, -5 unease. Thank you, Nagi. Wonder what the unease actually affects in the overall. It seems like we picked up a small amount just in the natural course of getting used to our environment. I smile at my girlfriend, then pick up my spoon. This looks great. I can't wait to dig in. It's no problem. You don't need to thank me. I am your girlfriend, after all. It should be given that I look after you. I suppose it would, yeah. Dip my spoon into my porridge under Nagi's watchful gaze, then bring it to my lips. I blow on it. Then I put the spoon in my mouth. So what do you think? Is it good? Let the porridge linger on my tongue for a few moments before swallowing. It slides down my throat easily, as I expected it would. It is rice porridge, after all, and it's quite watery at that. Nagi must have made it like this on purpose, so it'd be easier for me to eat. That was very considerate of her. I'm not sure if I can handle any food that's too salt at the moment, given how unwell I feel. If I had to describe it in one word, I'd say it's pretty homey. Reminds me a little of my mother's cooking, actually. My mother used to make me rice porridge. Just like this when I was young, and I was too sick to go to school. That is all rather nostalgic. It's good, yeah. Thanks, Nagi. I'm glad to hear it. I know my cooking isn't the best, but I've been trying. I want to get better, all for your sake. Now, why don't you finish it up? You've got to get a little more food in you. And just don't know much about what's going on overall yet, but I do appreciate the depression concept of I know something's wrong when I have a loving, devoted girlfriend who will do anything for me despite my apartment being a complete and utter mess. Aye, Captain. I'll do my best. I prefer nurse over captain, though that sounds a little too nautical. Whatever floats your boat. Finish the rest of my porridge and wash it down with a cup of herbal tea. The tea wasn't as hot as I was fearing, and it doesn't scald my tongue. It's quite soothing, in fact. I wonder what exactly is in that tea. Where did Nagi get it? I don't recall buying any loose leaves. Not a big tea drinker. Maybe she brought it over from her house. There we go. That wasn't so hard, was it? I'm very proud of you, Ayumu. Nagi smiles at me angelically after I've finished eating, as though I've succeeded in accomplishing a truly difficult task. You're tempted to think, based on the way she's carrying on, I've just run a marathon, which, given how I feel right now, would be an impossibility. That porridge might have bolstered my strength, but there's no way in hell I'm ready to throw back my covers and start working out. It was easy to eat your food. You're really good at cooking. Well, I don't know about that. There are better cooks out there than me, really. All I can really do is follow recipes. Hey, that takes enough skill. You know what? That's good enough. If you like following recipes, that's good in itself. And you should not be proud of that. Not particularly gifted in the kitchen, but I've been working hard to make food that's worthy of you. Worthy of me, you say? Yeah, you're a great guy, so it's a pretty tall order, but I'm not going to give in. I'm not there quite yet, but I'm sure I'll improve. The depression aesthetic of knowing something's off when someone looks up to you this much. Nagi flashes me a peace sign that takes my tray from my bed. I think she means to take it to the kitchen, but instead she sits it on my bedside table and says, "This is the least I can do for you, really, given how hard you work. You need to eat a lot of healthy, nourishing food, and you need to get a lot of rest. Do you hear me, mister? Otherwise you won't be able to finish the latest chapter of Crimson Fantasia by next Friday." Eh? Crimson Fantasia? Why does that name sound so familiar? I'm sure I've heard of it before, but it's hard to place it. My brain feels so fuzzy. I'd have thought Nagi's rice porridge would have given me strength, but it's not having much of an effect. I still feel wretched. Yes, Crimson Fantasia. Fortunately, Nagi is with me, and she seems to know even more about me than I do. At the moment, at least. I want to see what's going to happen, and I'm sure all of your other fans do, too. Last chapter ended on such a cliffhanger. I absolutely have to know what's going to happen to Eris. You can't peel her off, not now that she's finally reunited with her sister. She's barely had a chance to talk to Harmonia yet. There's still so much left unspoken between the two of them, and Eris's fight scenes are the coolest in the whole story. Really upset if she doesn't. Really upset she doesn't emerge from her scrape with the Arcanists alive. Oh, right. Nagi's just throwing a bunch of impenetrable-sounding character names at me, but I think I'm beginning to see at long last what she means. Crimson Fantasia is a web novel I've been working on during the last 3 months. I borrowed a bit of inspiration from Tsuchimi Rui's incredibly popular Elf Forest series, but Crimson Fantasia is much darker. Crimson Fantasia stars an average Japanese boy called Haru, who, through a series of unfortunate happenstances, winds up being reincarnated in a magical world called Grimoire. Once in Grimoire, he meets the plucky young sorceress Eris, who was raised by as an orphan in the slums. Eris looks your ten-a-penny ragged orphan, but she's actually a direct descendant of the royal family, one half of a set of twin princesses, who were torn apart for reasons unknown. I know Crimson Fantasia sounds an awful lot like Elf Forest, based on the synopsis, but I'm just painting in broad brushstrokes. They're not actually that alike. Haru isn't as forgiving as Itsuki is, for one thing. He has quite the temper on him, something which Eris, who isn't shy or retiring, has to take him to task for. Then there's Eris herself. Unlike Elf Forest's Princess Luluna, who is beautiful and kind, but during battles quite useless, Eris participates in fights alongside Haru as his equal. She's proficient in wielding a large number of weapons, but prefers to use a scythe. Ooh, badass. I know scythes are pretty derivative in and of themselves, but I think they look cool, so whatever. I think it's fine. It's an interesting weapon for someone with that origins, but you know what? You do you. Have fun with it. If Nagi knows about Crimson Fantasia, I suppose she must have read it. I wonder. Are you a fan of Crimson Fantasia, Nagi? Oh, wait, Yuma, what sort of question is that? Is that how we quote-unquote met? It was an earnest one. My mind is still all muddled. I can tell I'm starting to worry that you've forgotten everything. I haven't forgotten about Crimson Fantasia, or its fan base. You like it as well, don't you? How can you ask that, you big dummy? I know you're trying to be modest. It's one of your most appealing traits, but you don't need to worry about that. Not about me. You should know by now that I don't just like Crimson Fantasia. I love it. Oh yeah? Yes, I'm its #1 fan. That's saying something given it's become so popular. I was there first, however, before it became so big. I was leaving supporting comments right from the beginning on your blog. That's how we ended up meeting, remember? That day you emailed me, asking me out for a coffee. It was the most precious day of my life. I was so excited I thought my heart would burst. Like, for real. I felt like I was meeting a celebrity. In a way, I guess you are. You're quite the big shot. Big shot? Huh. This sounds plausible, but I have a few doubts. Is Crimson Fantasia really that successful? This sounds like we're suspiciously in a dream. But we've been playing along so far. Yes, it's very popular. It was tough going in the beginning, certainly, but Crimson Fantasia is rather successful now. I can admit, however, that in the early days of its publication it had barely any readers. I always told myself that I was writing for nobody's sake but my own. It was difficult to keep my morale up during those days. My dreams of becoming a professionally published light novel author, just like Tsuchimi Rui, beginning to look depressingly unobtainable. But she was always there. She commented on every single new chapter of mine, even when I surpassed the 50-chapter barrier. Her screen name was Nagiko. I remember it well, because I always looked forward to her feedback. Her comments were detailed, well-considered, and earnest. Oh, wow. She asked me a lot of questions about Crimson Fantasia's world setting, the characters' philosophies, and their developing relationships. I thought her enthusiasm was pretty cute. Well, I say she, but I never actually knew Nagiko's gender. I just assumed she was a girl, because based on her screen name. I can't remember sharing any private emails with Nagiko, and I certainly can't remember meeting her in public. If this smiling girl sitting at my sickbed is anybody, it makes sense that she would be Nagiko. This means that much, at least, definitely happened. Definitely publishing a web novel. We definitely have a fan who's been there from the beginning named Nagiko. Did I pluck up the courage to email her after all? If so, that's pretty impressive. Go me, I'm not as socially awkward as I thought. So if you're Nagiko, I can feel my thoughts whirring inside my head like clockwork. Piecing this together is quite a struggle. That must mean you really are my girlfriend, then. Yeah, that's right. What else would I be, silly Ayumu? I'm your girlfriend, and I love you lots and lots. Love you so much, in fact, I'm going to do my best to nurse you back in a tip-top fashion. My name isn't Nagi, and it looks like you can use it, too. Now let's see how your temperature's doing. Nagi leans in, then presses her forehead against mine. Her lips are very close to my own, to such a degree that I can't help but think about kissing her. That's not how you take temperature, but okay. Nagi peers into my eyes curiously. Our faces pressed perilously close, while I, not knowing what else to do, sit there, feeling like a stone statue. It was hot already, thanks to my fever, but I feel even hotter now. My palms are starting to sweat. I can feel Nagi's breath against my cheek. It's very soft. And, though I know I'm being silly, it feels quantifiably different to my own humdrum, everyday breathing somehow. Something about Nagi's irrefutable femaleness is amping this interaction up to 11. Why am I shaking so much? Her forehead is like ice against mine. Might as well be pressing myself against a window pane in the winter. Doesn't blood run through Nagi's veins? It looks so perfect I wouldn't be wholly unsurprised. She's so pretty she might as well be made of plastic. You do feel pretty warm, yeah. I guess there's nothing else for it. You have to go back to bed, mister. Is that an order? It was more of a request, really. I can order you around, however, if you're into that. Should Nurse Nagi tell you to lie back down on the double? You could, yeah. What if I refuse, though? And I'll have to give you an injection. That's what naughty boys who don't listen to their nurses deserve. Have you been giving me injections? You don't want me to hurt you, do you? I know Nagi's joking, but the casual way she talks about hurting me makes me flinch. Brings back memories. Oh no, I remember. But no, that was just a bad dream. Don't want to think about it. Well, what are we remembering? Perhaps I'd be better off sleeping after all. Let's stay awake. No, it's alright, I've already slept a lot. I don't think I'm ready to snatch 40 wings just yet. Are you sure? You'll be able to shake this sickness if you don't get enough rest. I'm worried about you. Nagi's eyes bore into mine. They look very large, almost all-encompassing in a way, and I swallow. I could get lost in those eyes if I let myself. I don't want to let my self-appointed nurse down, but... No, it's fine. I appreciate your worry, but I'm a grown man. I can look after myself, more or less. You say that, but I know better. I beg your pardon? That was an unexpectedly harsh tone. Does Nagi have some dirt on me or something? You heard what I said. Eh? You say you can look after yourself, but who's the one who let his shower get all grotty, huh? Who's the one who left that huge box of potatoes your parents shipped you from the countryside under your bed for months and months till they started sprouting feelers? Who's the one who never cooks? On the rare occasions he tries, he peels his fingers or gets eggshell in his omelets, huh? Oh, who could that be, Ayumu? I'm sure I have no idea. Oh, hello. Oh, well, shit. I didn't know Nagi's face could do that. Doesn't look very cute now in the midst of chewing me out. Maybe I deserve it? I am a disaster of a human, after all. I'm sorry, Nagi. I'm pretty awful at looking after myself. No, you don't say. I'm glad that I have you around to clean up after me. I am. Appreciate everything you've done for me. You're too good to me. What? Really? Do you remember everything now, Ayumu? Not entirely, no. I can remember the way my apartment used to look, though, which was something of a squalid hellhole. And that's being rude to squalid hellholes. If Nagi's the one who painstakingly swept my floor clean of empty soda bottles, junk food wrappers, and worn clothes, then she's even better than a girlfriend. She'd be some kind of goddess. I remember that you'd done a lot for me, yeah. I know you're always putting me first, which is very sweet of you. You don't have to worry about me right now, though. I'm running a bit of a fever, sure, but it's not that serious. I'm not about to die. You need to keep me in bed around the clock. So you say. I'm afraid if I don't keep a close eye on you, you'll start pushing yourself too hard. That's why you need to rest. Be fine. Simply being with you is restful enough. Oh, Nagi stammers, then blushes. I didn't think that corny line would actually work on her, so I'm pretty surprised. Now, I've written much more romantic lines in the past in Crimson Fantasia, in the quieter, more serious scenes exchanged between Haru and Eris. I don't have much experience with relationships, at least until I met Nagi. So working on those scenes always took me a while. It was like pulling teeth, only it was even more excruciating. Can't think of anything worse than making a clueless virgin write romance scenes. Are you sure about that, Ayumu? I'm quite sure. I'm getting tired of staying in bed, actually. It's starting to make me feel a little bit insane. So why don't you let me help out? You took time making that rice porridge for me, so I might as well do the washing up. Wouldn't that be fair? I hate washing up and household chores in general, but it seems important that I volunteer my services to Nagi. I don't want her to think I'm a complete waste of space. Hey, we Stan, a guy who's out for self-improvement. Nagi, however, doesn't seem too impressed by my suggestion. She doesn't thank me. Instead, she tuts. Don't be silly, you're much too tired to wash the dishes. I'm tired, but I'm not that tired. I can handle a few chores. You might be able to handle it, but that doesn't mean you should. You ought to leave everything to me. That's why I came here, dummy. I did to look after you, so you can recuperate as much as you want. You really should be sleeping. But if you're really not tired, maybe you can sit in the kitchen with me while I do the washing up. We can talk if you want. You can tell me about the latest plot developments you have in mind for Crimson Fantasia. That would be fun. It's not a bad idea, I guess. Sure beats staying in bed all day, languishing. Are you sure you want me to hear about the next chapter, though? You want me to spoil it, do you? I don't mind. You always bounce plot ideas around with me. It's nothing new. Do I indeed? Can't say I recall that. Then again, I don't recall much of anything. I shouldn't question it. Alright, let's do that. Yay! Let me get started on the dishes then. You can come with, Ayumu. Really pumped to see how Ares is going to get out of this one. Nagi helps me out of bed with all the consideration you might show an elderly grandparent. Her right arm snakes around my waist, and her chest presses against my side. She's close enough to me that I can feel her hair on my cheek. Kitchen. I let Nagi lead me to the kitchen, although in actuality I don't think I'm so very sick that I really need her help. Her thoughtfulness is appreciated, though. She's being very gentle. Nagi settles me down at the table, then turns to the sink. She turns on the tap deftly in a way that suggests a familiarity with my kitchen, and sets to work. Water cascades against the basin of the sink in a regular manner, like rainwater down a gutter. Nagi begins to hum to herself as she washes up. It's a light, lilting sort of a hum, something distinctly melodic. All the while, the pot in the sink begins to fill with water. I watch, captivated as this water bursts its banks, and spills over the sides of the pot and into the plug hole. Nagi continues her work like this for a brief while, unimpeded, before she speaks up. So, Ayumu. Nagi glances at me from over her shoulder, still smiling. What's going to happen in the next chapter of Crimson Fantasia? Inquiring minds are simply desperate to know. Ares was in a pretty tricky spot when chapter 63 left off. Things were looking pretty dicey. Can't see how she's going to fight a way out of this, not when Haru's been detained. There's no way you can kill her off, though. She's much too important. I wasn't planning to kill Ares. No, she's an essential part of the story. Without her, Haru would be totally lost. He relies on her a lot, just like she relies on him. They're pretty codependent. I knew that much. Their relationship is pretty cute, really. Even if Ares is too proud to say that she likes him. That's another reason why she can't die here. I won't accept it. He has to at least confess to Haru first. Otherwise, all that work you put into establishing their relationship would have been for nothing. Of course, I considered that too. I don't want the conclusion of their romance arc to be unsatisfying. I still have a lot of plans for Ares. Her story isn't even nearly over yet. Glad to hear it, but how's she going to escape then? She won't get a last-minute power-up, will she? No, I don't think. That'd be a bit too cliché. I think it would have Harmonia rescue her, actually. Oh, that'd be a great way to reestablish their relationship. No, Harmonia's wanting to get to know her sister better, but she's never really had the chance. She's too busy with all that princessy stuff. Anyways, Ares is so aloof. She has to learn to set their differences aside, though. I don't think she'll ever be happy otherwise. I agree with you there. Yeah, I want to give Ares and Harmonia a chance to make up with one another properly. Having Harmonia save Ares from a life or death situation seemed the best way to go about it. Harmony would probably feel obliged to act, in any case. Even Eris is her twin sister. He's felt guilty ever since Eris was cast out of the palace because of that silly prophecy. He's wanted to help her sister for years. I'm having some doubts about this story beat. You are? Yeah, it seems a bit derivative, I guess. You know, there's a similar scene with Astra and Cornelia in Elf Forest, and, well, Oni is a princess and her parents are very overprotective. They never let her leave the castle. Sneak out. She was only able to sneak out before because she was disguised, but her guards captured her and brought her back. Now her parents know about her old escape route. It'd be even harder for her to get away. I'm not sure if Harmonia would be able to escape the confines of her chamber to see her sister. And if she did, would she really be able to stop the Arcanists? Harmonia knows a bit of magic, but she's nowhere near as strong as Eris. In a battle, she'd probably be a hindrance. Maybe in a normal fight, she'd be standing up for her own sister, though. I think that'd give her a boost. I guess. Doesn't really solve the initial problem, however, getting her to the fight in the first place. Oh, it's fine. I'm sure you'll be able to figure something out, Ayumu. You're a genius, after all. I think genius is overselling me a little bit. I don't think it's selling you enough. You've written a lot of Crimson Fantasia. In such a short space of time, too. I think it's all super impressive. The characters are all so lifelike. They just feel just like real people, especially Haru and Eris. They have so much depth. They have so many hopes and dreams. The fight scenes are really cool, too. If anyone can think of a satisfying conclusion to this arc, I'm sure you can. I mean, obviously you can. You're the one who invented this whole universe. I guess. My reply when it comes is non-committal. I appreciate Nagi's support, but... It's a bit embarrassing. Since I appreciate Nagi's kindness, I'm not used to being complimented like this. Not to my face, at least. It's making me feel decidedly flushed. I can feel my cheeks turning red. My head is starting to ache again. Uh-oh. All of a sudden I feel disoriented. Uh-oh. Am I alright? Oh? Ayumu? Different Nagi view? Nagi looks at me, her brow creased with concern. She's still standing by the sink, and in one hand she's holding quite a sharp, hefty knife. Just in the middle of cleaning it because the silvery blade of the knife is damp with water. A few clear, crystalline junctions. Droplets of water roll down the shaft of the knife, then pool at the junction where the blade meets the handle. Nagi's fingers are wet, and so is the front of her blouse. Watches round, pearl-like droplets roll off the knife, then fall through the air. It's almost hypnotic. I find myself staring at the sharp blade of Nagi's knife, and the water that's trickling down it, until my head begins to ache. A dull, buzzing sound fills my skull. I feel like I'm on the brink of remembering something, but... Ayumu? Looking worried now, Nagi casts the knife into the sink where it lands with a dull metallic clatter and rushes over to me. She rests her hand on either side of my chair, effectively fencing me in, and leans toward me, her damp chest inches away from my own. Ayumu, are you alright? I look at Nagi dazedly. Her face is inches away from my own. Her eyes are really huge. Unease. All of a sudden, everything feels like too much. The walls of my kitchen are cramped, claustrophobic. Feels like they are closing in on me. Can't breathe. Close my eyes, squeezing them shut in an attempt to steady myself. I inhale slowly, then exhale. I can smell mold and mildew. I can smell decomposing food, unwashed clothes, and the stench of dirty skin. I smell copper, rust, and blood. My eyes are beating inside my skull in tandem with my heart. My stomach churns. If we get stabbed, I feel like I'm going to vomit. Ayumu! The moment passes. My eyelids flicker open, and once again my eyes meet with Nagi's. They're so full of concern, practically pregnant with it, that I feel guilty for worrying her. Some boyfriend I am. I'm sorry. Just felt a bit lightheaded, that's all. But I'm fine now. This is the sight of Nagi with a knife. And that is concerning. You don't need to worry about me. Of course I'm going to worry about you. I care about you. Nagiko, the obsessive fan going to meet the creator whose work she's obsessed with. Knife involved. Copper rust. Smell. Big signpost of blood. Why do I feel like this is a dream world? Like a dying dream. And in reality, we got stabbed by Nagi. And we are currently dying. I know you want to act tough and all, but you don't need to put on a front around me. I can see right through you. You're feeling sick again, aren't you? Maybe a little. I knew it. Nagi sighs. You guys are all the same, I swear. You're all so boneheaded. You like to act tough even when you're unwell, until it all gets too much, and then you can't keep pretending. By that point, however, it's already too late. You're awful at asking for help. Now let's get you settled again beneath your sheets. I'll not have you overexerting yourself, not on my watch. I'm actually feeling a little better since that strange experience I had. I doubt anything good will come from telling Nagi about this. I don't think she'll listen to me. He looks too annoyed. Such a slender girl who isn't particularly tall. She's surprisingly stern. Alright, you know best. I won't want to make my nurse worry, so I'll try and take better care of myself. See to it that you do. I can help, but there's only so much I can do. It's with this stern rebuke that Nagi helps me to my feet. She guides me back to my bedroom, her left arm wound around my waist to steady me. I let her walk to my bedside, and I let her sit me down. Pulls back my covers in one deft, smooth movement, a bit like a magician, and immediately I lie on my back. There, that's much better. You should be safe now, Ayumu, so don't fret. I'm going to keep a really close eye on you, see? I'm not going to let anybody hurt you, not while I'm around. Not even you. Nagi giggles to herself, then bends, her long hair cascading over her slender shoulders. Looks like she's reaching for something, but what? I watch on. My interest peaked. There's so much else to watch in my small bedroom, which has been scoured clean. As Nagi retrieves a mysterious object from the ground. It's woolen. Whatever it is, and comprised of numerous pastels, baby blues, and pale pinks. Its shape is strange and indeterminate, immutable almost, and I can't quite place what it's supposed to be. In Nagi's fingers, she's holding a pair of spiked implements which, if their ends weren't so blunt, might be good ways to torture somebody. Oh, she's knitting. I wonder what they could be. Hey, Nagi, what's that? Oh, this? I just thought I'd do some knitting. You know, it's one of my hobbies. Do I know that? I'm not sure, but I probably should. I hope this isn't bothering you, Ayumu. Oh no, it's fine. I don't mind. Please, feel free. That's what I like to hear. I'll do some knitting then while you lie down. You want to have a nap? Not just yet. I'm not tired. Are you sure? Look a little drowsy to me, but if you're not ready to nod off yet, I suppose I can just turn the TV on. I don't know what's airing right now, but that should be more interesting than staring at the walls or watching me knit. I think watching Nagi knit is pretty interesting myself. She's awfully dexterous with her fingers. Fingers which are long and slender. Almost like needles themselves. Hey? A shiver runs up my spine, and unnerved, I glance away from Nagi. Not like Nagi's fingers are much different from my own. Even her skin is paler, but they don't look quite right. They remind me of a doll's. Do they have too many joints? It's ridiculous, though. Surely. Ayumu, is something wrong? Oh no, I'm fine. Let's see what's on the TV, shall we? That sounds like a plan to me. Nagi retrieves the remote from my bedside table and switches the TV on. My TV's an old boxy set, more than a dozen years out of date, and the picture flickers quite a lot. Never really bothered watching it myself because the shaking picture makes me feel seasick. Think I can endure that right now, though. I feel so sick already, I doubt this old TV will be able to make things much worse. Nagi flips through the channels idly past the news which he deems to be too depressing, and some documentary about lions in the Serengeti which he says is too violent, till she settles on some kids' cartoon. It seems to be a magical girl show, based on the designs of the characters. The main cast is comprised of elementary school-aged girls with wide eyes and big, bright hair that reminds me of plasticine. It's fairly Cute, I guess. It's inoffensive, a bit like Nagi's homemade rice porridge. I'm not really into kitty stuff like this, but I can deal with it. This alright, Ayumu? It's fine, I guess. It should be able to distract from my sickness, if nothing else. Wish the screen wasn't flickering so much, though. Good. Let's leave this on, then. I'm pretty fond of this series, actually. You are? Yeah. Who doesn't love magical girls? I was really into this stuff when I was a kid. Wanted to be a magical warrior myself one day. Wanted to save the whole world with the power of love. Even wrote that on my career survey back in 1st grade. Think my teacher was a bit bemused, but what did they expect? That's what all little girls want to be. So how did that go? Were you able to make your dream come true? Well, none of my wishes on shooting stars have come true just yet. I still haven't met my own fare, and I haven't even been given a transformation item. Did figure, however, that I don't need to save the whole world. That'd be quite an undertaking. You have not become Maguka. My love might be boundless, but my energy isn't. Can't be everywhere at once. Clack, 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 go Natty. Go Nagi's knitting needles. But I can be by your side. That's all I want, really. Then, you're gonna be my magical girl? Well, why not? Sounds like a worthy challenge, especially since you're so bad at looking after yourself. Hey, was that really necessary? All's fair in love and war, Ayumu. Anyway, you know I'm right. You were in a really bad state before you met me. I worry what might have happened to you if we had not started dating. Clack, clack, clack. Clack, clack, clack. We don't need to worry about that, because I am here. I'll always be here. That's what magical girls do. Thought you were my nurse, though. There's nothing stopping me from being a magical nurse. I guess not, no. I wonder what that would look like. Me too. I'd have to sketch an idea up. You can draw? You know I can draw, silly. Who do you think sent you all that fan art of Eris? Good point. I can remember that at least. Not the art that Nagi sent me. Her renditions of Crimson Fantasia's main characters was very precious to me. It made quite the impression. Nobody else had ever drawn me art of my own characters. Not before nor after. I was so elated when I received those drawings I couldn't stop smiling. I was on cloud 9 for the whole day. If anybody had seen me, they probably would have thought I looked creepy, and maybe I did. I didn't care, though. That was the first time I'd ever felt so happy. This warm feeling floods my stomach once more as, contented, I look back at the television set. This episode looks to be an important one. The main magical girl, whose name is, of all things, Pumpkin, is facing off against what I assume is the final boss. This is the season finale. What an episode for me to start on. Pumpkin stares up at her rival, and with narrowed eyes, she says, I can't let this stand. I have to save. I won't give up her dreams. The colors on the screen are a little distorted. So is Pumpkin's voice, but I think I understand what's going on, more or less. Continue to watch the show, and Nagi continues to knit. Regular clack, clack, clack of her needles acts as a backdrop to the action on the screen. It's quite a soothing sound. It merges with the sounds of my own breathing, the regular static of the television set. My eyelids begin to droop. I think it must have begun, at some point, to drift off. Oh? I'm swiftly snapped back into a consciousness by a series of harsh electronic beeps. That sounds familiar. Is that my phone? Somebody must be trying to call me. I clean forgot. I was looking for a clock earlier, about my phone. Its existence had slipped my mind. Now I can hear my phone ringing, however. Now that I can feel it vibrating against my upper thigh, I'm surprised it could have evaded my attention for so long. Why did I think to check it earlier? I reach my pocket. My fingers curl around my phone, but before I can retrieve it, Nagi looks at me and says, Ignore that. Eh? Look at Nagi, nonplussed. What's the matter? The infernal buzzing is the matter. Don't bother with your phone, Ayumu. I doubt it'll be anything important. Just hand it over to me. There's a good boy. You're too sick to take any calls right now. But nothing. Oh! Nagi's face distorts, but it lasts only an instant. She inhales. Then she says, very calmly, I'm saying this for your own good, Ayumu. Don't look at me like that. I would never, ever do anything to hurt you. Oh dear. He sounds pretty insistent about this, but then again, so does the mystery caller, who still hasn't hung up. My phone is still buzzing in my pocket. I can can feel it juddering against the fingers of my right hand, which are pressed against it. It would be easy to take my phone out of my pocket, then answer it. It would be equally easy to hand my phone over to Nagi. She seems so worked up about this for some reason which is escaping me that I don't want to upset her. She's doing this for my sake, after all. What should I do? Oh, boy. Well, I mean, we're kind of trending towards, we've been kind of trending towards, obeying Nagi. Besides that one point we didn't go back to sleep. I'm gonna give Nagi her phone. I'm still curious about who's trying to call me, but I don't think I want to risk upsetting Nagi. She's been doing her best to take care of me, like she said. Ignoring her wishes now wouldn't be a very nice way to repay her. And I reasoned with myself I can always call this person back later if they want to tell me something important. For the moment, however, I'd probably be better off without any external distractions. I'm too tired to deal with the world. Oh, sure thing. Fished my phone out of my pocket, at long last, and handed to Nagi without complaint, without pausing to check even who bothered calling me in the first place. It's not like I need to know the identity of my mysterious caller right this instant. It can wait. I'm too tired in any case to worry about it too much. I'm not really in the mood to talk. Thank you, Ayumu. I know you do the right thing. You're a very sensible boy. Giggling, Nagi accepts my phone from me, then switches it off. She, like me, doesn't bother to look at who the caller is. Maybe it doesn't matter. Am I thinking about this too much? I'll look after this for you so you don't need to think about it. Nagi pockets my phone for herself, then resumes her position in the chair at my bedside, shifting around the cushions to make herself more comfortable. Now you're going to go back to sleep? You look a little peaky. I feel pretty peaky. I yawn. So tired. Thought you were drifting off earlier, yeah. It's a shame that somebody chose now of all times to call you. People can be so inconsiderate. Don't they know you're sick? Now that you mention it, I frown. Probably not, no. I haven't spoken to anybody all day other than you. Unless you told them for me. I did, yeah. I called up your university on your behalf, Ayumu, and your friends. I have friends? They should all know that you're down for the count. You won't get in any trouble. Right, that's a relief. But that Nagi's so sensible. If I was on my own, I probably wouldn't think to call my university to tell them about my absence. I just refused to show up. It wouldn't be the first time that I've missed out on my lectures. In fact, come to think of it, when was the last time I went to a lecture? I try to remember, but, a sharp pain pierces my skull. It feels like I've been skewered. White-hot pain flashes momentarily behind my eyelids, and everything blurs. I'm so overcome I have to squeeze my eyelids shut. I breathe in slowly, then breathe out. I do this 10 times until the pain subsides. When I open my eyes, at long last I see Nagi. Her face is creased with worry, and she's frowning. Oh dear, looks like you're still very poorly. You'll need some more ibuprofen, do you? That wouldn't be too bad, actually. Alright, I'll go get some for you. And a glass of water, too. That should help you wash it down. Won't be a minute. Nagi gets to her feet, abandoning her strange, shapeless thing on the floor, and bustles off to the kitchen. I don't tell her where I keep my medicine or where I keep my cups, but I don't suppose I need to. I'm sure she stopped by my place numerous times in the past, being my girlfriend and everything. She'll be fine on her own. Some time passes, I don't know how much, which I spend staring at the ceiling, picking out shapes in the paint. Seconds trickle by, and then... Alright, Nurse Nagi is back in the scene. Nagi approaches me, her footsteps soft and muffled, like a cat's in her indoor slippers. In one hand she's holding a glass of water, in the other she has a couple of white, featureless tablets. Nagi drops the tablets in my waiting paw when I pop them into my mouth. These are a little chalky, but they don't have any particular flavor otherwise. They're blandly inoffensive. I wash these tablets down with a glass of water Nagi brought to me, then lie back down into bed. I feel bone tired now. There's nothing I want more than to sleep. You poor thing. Gently, very gently, Nagi presses her palm against my forehead, which feels fevered and gives my hair a ruffle. You really have been through the wars, Ayumu. Don't worry, though. I'm not going anywhere. You can count on me. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm Yeah, I'm moderately worried. The sweet cadence of Nagi's voice, coupled with a soothing touch of her hand, is a comfort. Soothe the residual aches in my head, the aches that the ibuprofen couldn't quite manage to iron out. Surely everything is fine. Nagi's palm is nice and cool. I guess that's because she was carrying that glass of cold water from the kitchen. That's a recurring thing here, and Nagi is unnaturally cold and pale. It helps disperse the feverish haze that settled about me. Her hand continues to stroke me, over and over, as a mother might a small child. I feel like I've regressed, becoming younger, feebler, needier. I don't want to become too dependent on her. There. But this really does feel good. With half-lidded eyes, I look up at my girlfriend. My goddess, and mumble. You promise you won't leave me? I promise. Why would I? I do love you, you know? Ooh. Alanies. That will never change. Perfectly relaxed. Nagi. Exhale. I still feel her head against my head. My skin is flushed with sweat, and I know it's very pleasant to touch, but Nagi doesn't draw away from me. She said that she would stay with me. She promised. Are we dying? I'd like to think that I can at least believe her. If we are... This is ending territory, right? Oh, we can still save, though. My eyelids fall shut, soothed by Nagi's words of undying, eternal affection. And quickly, sleep rushes forward to meet me. A sleep so deep, and I'm pulled under within seconds. A faint voice reaches me through the darkened abyss. Huh? Oh, please, Ayumu. It doesn't sound like Nagi's. Huh? Guess it can't be that important, then. I tune it out. I ignore everything. I let myself sink further still, all the way to the bottom of a dark, dense swamp. Yeah, we're dead. We are absolutely dead here. So, suppose there wasn't any point in... If we go back to sleep. Okay. No best, don't make you worry so. I yawned and lay down in bed, as obedient as a small child. I'll do what you say. It's rude of me not to listen to my nurse. Yes, that's right. Bad patients with black hearts disobey their nurses, but I know you're not a bad patient. You've always been very sweet. That's why I like you so much. Now that's interesting. I smile at Nagi, though vaguely through eyelids which are already starting to fall shut. But you said you were my nurse. I'm your nurse. I'm nursing you after all. What else would I be? Here's the thing. I yawn. I hadn't realized it until I laid my head in my pillow and discovered how soft it is, but I really am tired. Thought you were also my girlfriend. I'm that too. I can be both, can't I? Isn't that a bit unprofessional of you? It is? Duh. Nurses aren't supposed to date their patients. I'm sure they have to sign some sort of waiver. Might get in trouble if news of our sordid affair comes to light. Oh, there's nothing sordid about me being in love with you. My feelings are very pure. You can say that to me till the cows come home, but it's your supervisor you'll have to convince, and probably a court of law, too. Uh-oh. Would I get sent to prison for falling for you? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it depends on how sick I am. Well, that's not fair. I can consider that. It seems awfully cruel that the world would conspire to keep us apart. So I just need to stay here, Ayumu, with me, for all eternity. That way nobody will know I'm flouting the law. I'll never have to lose my medical license, and I'll never have to lose you. I can keep on loving you and looking after you forever and ever. How does that sound? That might not be such a bad deal, actually. You think so? Nagi titters. I'm glad to hear it. If that's what you want, then that's what you'll get. Your cute nurse Nagi will be on the clock 24/7, so you've got nothing to worry about. Let's go to sleep. The static is coming in. Rest your weary head. I'll be here for you. I'll never, ever leave you. That static is really concerning. Nagi's voice is so softly hypnotic, I can't fight against it. She has me in her thrall. Eyelids, which are already drooping, fall shut. In a quite understated sort of way, I fall into a deep, dreamless sleep. I think I can hear somebody calling out to me, albeit vaguely. Ayumu! Ayumu! But the voice is so distant, it might as well be emanating from another planet. I don't need anybody else but Nagi. I don't want anybody else but Nagi. just want to fall asleep. I never ever want to wake up. We did. Oh, I didn't mean to load so distinctly. Let's see here. I suppose now we start resisting and see where that gets us. Actually, I'm going to start with the phone. Oh, that's not the phone save. This is the phone save. Answer the phone. Nagi might not be very happy about this. The continued buzzing of my phone is making me wonder. I'd like to discover who's calling me at the very least, so I can determine whether it's something important. It was one of my lecturers from university, wondering where I am. Granted, that thought does make me feel a little sick. Sicker than I already am, I mean. I don't think there's anything to be gained by avoiding this call. With this thought in my mind, I extricate my phone from my pocket, then check who's currently calling me. I was hoping looking at the caller would shed some light on this situation, but... it's an unknown number. Well, that's not very helpful. It's probably a scam call then, but I might as well take it just to be sure. I accept the call, then pressed my phone to my ear and addressed them. Hello, who is this? I met initially with a low hum of static. Can't hear anything on the other end of the line beyond a faint buzzing that sounds like flies. No matter how I try to strain my ears. Was this a waste of time? Hello? Hello, who is this? I try again, repositioning my phone against my ears, though this might help. And when I do, I hear it. Oh, somebody's crying. They're crying my name. Ayumu. Oh, please, Ayumu. It's hard to identify the speaker. Given the call is modulated with static, their voice sounds familiar. It's a female voice. That much at least I can discern. It's high-pitched and breathy, but it sounds stricken. Ayumu, please wake up! Huh? What do they mean by that? Did I mishear them? The line's so bad, that's not beyond the realm of possibility, but, I think that's enough of that. A frowning Nagi reaches out before I have a chance to formulate a reply and plucks my phone from my hand. I thought I was gripping onto my phone pretty tightly, but Nagi is able to wrest it without too much effort. Tight-lipped, Nagi looks down at the caller. She clicks her tongue. Then she hangs up. What a waste of time. Nagi stashes my phone in her own skirt pocket and plants her hands on her hips. You shouldn't have answered that, Ayumu. I told you not to. You're in no fit state to talk to other people right now. Anyway, it's only upset you. What? But Nagi? I look at Nagi, at my girlfriend, unsteadily. I can't see my own expression, of course, but I can feel it twisting. I don't know who was calling, but they sounded really distressed. They were calling out to me. They told me to wake up. What do you think that means? It doesn't mean anything. It was just a prank. Don't pay it any heed. Probably one of your friends at university playing pretend. Goodness. Honestly, you could probably get a good joke out of that. In the sense of, friends making dark jokes at each other, one friend is really sick. And your other bro calls you to say some shit like, Ayumu, wake up! It's been 10 years. The world has ended around you. We're the last survivors of humanity. Epic prank. I prank my friend to make them think the world has ended. People can be so inconsiderate. They must have too much time on their hands, and they think teasing is a good use of their time. If I have a mind to phone them back, give them a piece of my mind. I don't want to give them the satisfaction. They don't deserve it. Let's not talk about this anymore. The less said about your so-called friends, the better. Other people are all annoying. Let's not worry about them, alright? Right, I'll try to forget about that then. Good, I'm glad to hear it. The matter of the mysterious caller settled, and giggling Nagi returns to her knitting. I watch her, my head propped up on pillows, and Nagi manipulates her needles through her amorphous pastel creation. Clack, clack, clack. Nagi, are you emitting an amogus? The sear sunlight which spills through my window catches on the edges of the needles, so they seem to flash. The regular, repetitive sound of Nagi's needles puts me in mind of cracking bones. Oh, that's concerning. Nagi looked content enough, poring over her knitting, but my own feelings of uneasiness remain. My stomach is churning again. What is going on here? I'm sure there's more to Nagi than what it might initially seem. Nothing more beyond her cute pom-pom earrings and her sweet smiling face, but... Clack, clack, clack. I can't think of what that something more might be. I don't know who she is, but maybe I'm afraid to know. Afraid to ask her. I want to hear that answer. I should just keep quiet. It's easier to pretend that everything's all right. The sounds of Nagi's knitting wash over me. Clack, clack, clack. With sightless, unseeing eyes, I turn my attention back to the television. Some time passes like this. I don't know how much until Nagi eventually sets her knitting needles down. He stretches, raising her slender arms above her head, and says in a lilting sing-song, "My mind's getting late. Must have gotten carried away. Heh." Nagi turns to look out the window, as do I. I didn't realize it, being so engrossed in the TV screen and the sound of Nagi's knitting needles, but the day really has flown by. It was a light, azure blue beyond, the panes my window when I last looked, but it's not now. The sky is pitch black. I suppose it's true what they say. Time flies when you're having fun. Were you having fun? I would have thought you'd been bored out of your mind sitting with me all day. It can't have been that exciting. Oh no, Ayumu, perish the thought. Being with you is never boring. You're my boyfriend after all, and I love you a lot. How could I ever find your company dull? There's barely any company. We weren't even talking. You don't need to. Being with you is enough to make me happy, silly. Huh. Is that so? If Nagi's telling the truth, then... I'm just going to save over this. I'm going to give the honest answer. She must have low standards. I don't think there's anything special about me when I'm awake and alert, much less when I'm half asleep. Nagi must have some sort of agenda here. Either that or she's easy to please. I wonder which is worse. Now. Nagi stretches, then rises. Her black skirt shifts about her thighs, and she smooths the fabric down absently between her palms. I should probably prepare some dinner for you, dear. You must be starving. I hadn't realized it until Nagi said it, but she's right. That rice porridge I had earlier is all the food I've had today. I should be a lot hungrier than I actually am. Let me see what you have in the fridge. Probably nothing. Probably nothing. Anything I have in the fridge was probably last good, like, a week ago. Nagi heads off to the kitchen, her slippered soles impressing themselves almost soundlessly against the floor. I hear the sound of the kitchen door opening, then a faraway rustle of activity. Imagine Nagi standing by the fridge, bathed in its cool and unnatural light. One figure held to her chin and her brow furrowed in thought. What will she find in there? Is there anything to find? Can't remember the last time I went to the store. I'm surprised I had enough ingredients lying around for her to make that rice porridge. A few moments pass before I hear the faint sound of the kitchen door slamming. Nagi must have given up on her search for sustenance, something which becomes readily apparent when she says, after materializing in the doorway, "There isn't very much in the fridge, nothing at least I can really use. I think I'm gonna have to go to the convenience store. You don't mind waiting a little for your dinner, do you, Ayumu?" "Oh, no, that's fine." I haven't taken a look at the inside of my fridge in a while, but I can't imagine Nagi found much more in there than beyond maybe a couple of eggs, some slices of plasticky cheese, and some expired vegetables. I've been living on cup noodles mostly for the last few months, those and rice crackers. Ooh. Can't really go wrong with rice crackers, though they don't make for the most nutritious of meals. I'll try not to be too long. I don't like leaving you. You'll be alright on your own, won't you? I'm sure I will. You don't need to fuss. I'm not a child. You know you're not, but sometimes you can be so petulant. Am I being petulant right now? Well, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Promise me you'll stay here, won't you? Be a good boy now. Yeah, I promise. Hey, don't you yeah me, mister. I'm saying this, because I care about you. Don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm mad. Nagi's voice is light, but I can sense a threatening undercurrent beneath her words. He sounds very invested in making me stay here, more perhaps than simple concern about my health might dictate. Does she really think I'm that frail? Nothing going to turn to dust the moment I step outdoors. The way you've been living, you might legitimately turn to dust the moment sun hits you. I'm not a vampire. That's what I'd like to tell her, but something about her expression stops me short. Isn't the sort of expression I want to argue with. Right, I'll stay here. You promise? That's right, I promise. Good. I'll hold you to that. Don't forget it, Ayumu. If you lie, I might just have to make you swallow 1,000 needles. Oh, awesome. That's concerning. Isn't that a little harsh? No, it's a fairly standard punishment, I think, as far as these things go. In any case, you would deserve it. Might be my wonderful boyfriend, but I won't absolve you of all your crimes. Lying is bad, Ayumu. It's a sin, and lying to a cute girl like me is the biggest sin of all. Ah, that's an interesting way of looking at things. Does lying become more grievous an offense the cuter the person being lied to is? I've not heard that one before. Be off now. Then, stay safe, darling. I will. See you later. But of course, it's not like you're going to go anywhere. I'll be back before you know it. Watch as Nagi bends to put on her shoes. Her hair falls over her shoulder in the process, brushing her cheek. With her shoes on, she then stands, her pale, slender fingers curling around the door handle. The handle shifts, then the lock clicks, and Nagi steps out into the hallway. The sound of the closing front door echoes through my apartment. It's low and dull, like an audible piece of punctuation. Now that she's gone, I feel... Oh boy. There's a lot more here than I expected. I'm a little bummed at only having 6 save slots. I guess we will loop. Relieved. In Nagi's absence, I find that I can actually finally breathe again. In her company, I found myself forever holding my breath, second-guessing her every remark or movement without being aware that this was what I was actually doing. Sweet though she might be, I don't feel comfortable around her. I think there's more to her than what she's letting on. I don't know what that might be. She might call herself my girlfriend, but how can that be? I can't remember spending any time with her before, and regardless of how sick I might be, it seems unlikely that my fever would be strong enough to completely obliterate all of my memories. The things she says aren't mapping onto the things I know. I have no idea how she got into my apartment, or why she seems to know so much about me. I don't know if I can trust her. I don't know if I can take that risk. I don't think I want to spend more time with her. What then should I do? Should I sit here in bed like a good little boy, waiting for her inevitable, invariable return for the shot? Would we better serve to try and stage an escape? I think, giving it a bit of thought, that I'd be better off staying here after all. Ooh, is this a normal endgame state that our unease will dictate the outcome to? Interesting. Why should I bother leaving, really, when I have Nagi? I've started to doubt whether she really is my girlfriend. Why would anyone be interested in me? Well, she doesn't seem to have any doubts on the subject. She seems very convinced that she is my girlfriend, and who am I to tell her otherwise? I promised that I would stay here, and I don't want to hurt her. What would be the point in that? It doesn't matter if this is a dream. Nagi has been far kinder to me than any real girls I know. I've only known her a day, but she's given me so much love, I'm already drowning in it. I'm sinking. But I'm not yet at the bottom of this ocean. The question then remains that who is that girl in reality who knows us and who is desperate for us to wake up? We do have that question to cling on to. Perhaps there is no bottom. Is that an actual point he's making truthfully? Is that just a point he's making that is colored by the perception of dream Nagi? Pampering us slash keeping us under her thumb. Perhaps there is no bottom. Perhaps love has no limits. Is it something that's just colored by depression? He's obviously not in peak mental health if he's been living like this for months. Could not possibly be in peak mental health if he's been living like this for months. Wouldn't know. I've never been in love before. Oh, but I think I want to try it. I want to know what it feels like to be adored, so I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to stay right here. Nagi will return in due course with all of her shopping, just like she promised she would, and then she'll set about making dinner. I'm sure based on her rice ports, it'll be something simple and nutritious. Perhaps some sort of a cream-based stew. The scent of Nagi's cooking will fill the kitchen, blotting out the faint underlying mask of mold that's been irritating my nostrils throughout the day. And she'll call me into the kitchen, and we'll eat together at the table. We'll talk to one another about nothing in particular, while our spoons scrape against our bowls in a discordant sympathy. Perhaps I'll get some food at my lower lip. Perhaps Nagi will laugh at me, though not unkindly, not like my classmates did back at school, and would wipe it away from me. Perhaps she'll kiss it away. I'm sure she would if I asked. I'm sure she'd do anything for me. She loves me after all, and I love her. She's too perfect not to. I don't know what happiness is, really. But if I stay with Nagi, I'm sure I'll be able to figure it out. Oh, this music is carrying me! Oh, that music is terrifying.